Yeah, I got Toby's calling and she thinks she calling Jenna.
What the fuck is up, y'all? My name is Jay the Prodigy, and today I'm coming to y'all with 16 of my most important lessons that I've learned in my long, painstakingly long 21 years of existence on this somewhat green planet. So, with that being, shit is ridiculous. I don't even know how it happens. Anyways, number one, trust nobody. Fact check everything. Here's the thing. A lot of people are going to come off as very confident and very knowing and knowledgeable in what it is that they're talking about. But they're not always. And if you take their word at face value, sometimes you're going to get fucked. So, do your own research. Like, on everything. I'm saying don't even take what I say at face value. Do your own research. Make sure it makes sense to you. Comprendo? Good. Also, plan for every contingency. What I mean by that is, even if you do have like oh, this guy's not gonna fuck me over feeling, plan for when he does fuck you over. Like, and I'm not saying to like focus on it and dwell on it and like put your energy towards that, but I am saying to be prepared in the event that that does happen. That way you can pick up and just keep on going because you're already planned for it. Point 2, knowledge alone will only get you so far. I learned this one very recently, which I was very shocked to learn it. I mean, you would figure just knowing a lot of shit would get you pretty fucking far. But no. There is a lot more to it. Charisma, being able to properly communicate and convey an idea, convey a point. Networking. Let's see. On top of the ability to execute, that is also a very important one. So a lot more goes into becoming successful than solely knowledge. So with that being said, don't push to the side other experiences that could give you experience in communication, experience in presentation, experience in all these various things that at the end of the day, you may not know it right at that second, but they would translate over to the eventual end goal, whatever your end goal might be. Number 3, perception and energy is everything. Like, when I say this, I mean when some shit goes down, some fucking straight up bullshit goes down, and you sit there and just dwell on the bullshit, that's doing you no good whatsoever, and probably only amplifying the magnitude of the bullshit to come because you're focused on it. So when some bullshit happens, I mean, it just is what it is. 98% of the time, 99% of the time, even if you could have done something about it, you didn't do something about it. So it fucking is what it is. At that point, you're better off taking it for what it is and figuring out what to do from there. Analyzing, like, okay, I'm in this fucked ass position, but what's the best move I can make from here? That's the only way you're ever going to work through the bullshit effectively and efficiently. Numero quattro. 99% of the time, it's smart to play dumb. And it's so lovely too. Like, you get to see all of these dynamics at play, and they think you're none the wiser. But really, the whole time, you're like, 10 steps ahead of them. So, I mean, it gives you an edge for sure. Like, undeniably, and there's really no reason not to. I mean, I would say, honestly, as just a general rule of thumb, to speak on less than you know. So, yeah. Numero cinco, be careful who you display your capabilities to. If you're just now starting out on your building yourself and self-growth and becoming a weapon journey, then this may not be too big of a concern. But once you start to get some motion, once you start to get some knowledge, once you start to get some ability, at least for me, in my experience, this is where this is coming from, people begin to feel threatened because they see how hard you work, they see what you're capable of, they see you know what you're capable of, which is the worst part, well, to them, and they're going to do everything in their power to suppress it and to prevent you from gaining access to opportunities, gaining access to more knowledge. They're going to try and slow your roll, long story short. So, with that being said, you kind of got to move strategically, because it's not like for me, it caused kind of traumatic experiences. So I went into a shell. I didn't tell anybody what I was capable of. I just sat there. I know the whole time, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm not telling anybody else because I don't know how they're going to react to it. And more often than not, in the context of regular people, whenever I open my fucking mouth and they hear me talk, they like start to feel some type of way about themselves. So it got to a point where I was just like, all right, let me shut the fuck up, and that way we all win. But no, that's not what you should do. You just have to pick and choose your battles, and obviously go based off of probability. If you know the person and you have a very high degree of confidence that they're going to be happy for you and they're going to want to see you grow and see you develop, then obviously that's someone you want to display your abilities to. Anyways, I'm sure you get the point. So that was that. Numero 6. You can always make more money. You can never buy more time. And I put this one in there because I had shifted my focus and my energy and my existence so much to the focus of money that I missed some opportunities that are once upon a time, if that makes sense. Like, I should have been way less concerned about making money and way more concerned about actually living. Now, this does not apply to 99% of people. Like, the 1% of rich people is the percentage that this probably applies to, or rich people are going to be rich people. This is who that applies to. Yeah, you gotta live. You might not even make it to where you want to be. So you gotta take what you can get, take it day by day. And I mean, I'm not saying just like fuck off like everybody else does. That's not what I'm saying. But there are certain times that you should take a step back, spend time with the familia, whatever the case may be, and, you know, live. 7. This one was a tough one, and it took me so much time, and like, it was very expensive to learn this lesson, but not everyone wants to grow. And it's unfortunate. Like, I don't think y'all understand how many people I wanted to help and bring up with me, that the problem was I wanted them to win more than they wanted to win. And that never works. And so you just got to kind of accept that certain people don't want to go up. They don't want to change. They're perfectly fine where they're at. And I mean, maybe a catalytic event would happen someday and that'll change. But until then, unless you are going to be the catalyst event, which I probably would not suggest, then it's just going to take time if they ever get to that point. So, yeah. 8. This is going to sound kind of brutal, but y'all know me. I keep it a buck. You don't know shit. You don't even know what you don't know. And I say this because I got humbled the other day. Like, through my years of research on a subject, I talked to a specialist in the subject, and I learned more than I had learned in those years of research. And the thing is, I knew how much I didn't know about the subject. I knew I'm not a professional. It's not what I do. I know I don't know a lot, but I didn't even know how much I didn't know. And it was astounding. It was literally life-changing. So just keep that in mind. It's not meant to be like a degrading thing, but it's something to keep in mind. Like, you should always be trying to absorb knowledge and at least trying to become aware of what it is that you don't know, because when you become aware of what it is that you don't know, you can then pursue the knowledge and learn it. The problem is when you just don't know what you don't know. So get to know what you don't know so you can know it. Numero 9. Inevitably, you will lose. So as a minimum, extract as much value from the lesson as possible. I don't like to call them L's, I like to call them lessons. Unless you make a dumbass mistake and you knew better, then that's an L. But for the most part, we're learning, we're making mistakes, so they're lessons. You just gotta, and I mean, some of them suck dick. Like, some of them are tough. But, like I said at the beginning, it just is what it is 98% of the time. So you just gotta roll with the punches, take what you can get, and understand that this is a compounding effect. Like, sitting there and thinking about it and analyzing it is pretty much never fucking fun, but it's less painful than reiterating the experience and assists in preventing a negative experience in the future. So, learn from mistakes. Numero 10. Your circle and network are two of the most overpowered tools. Here's the thing. This goes back to knowledge is not everything. Who you know is arguably more important than what you know. And arguably even what you can do. So your network is very, very, very important. And that's why people say your network is your net worth. I agree. I think that's true. And that's going to be an objective of mine here in the near future. I'm going to be taking y'all on the journey. But I'm going to be trying to increase the net worth of my network by networking. So y'all will be able to see all of that at play. Hopefully get some value from it. Anyways, and friends, or your circle, as I had put it. Not necessarily as tools, and not even the network necessarily as tools. Obviously, you want to build relationships with these people. They're not just tools. But the reality is that by interacting with the correct people, you're able to gain advantages. That's just, simply put, that's reality. I don't care how the fuck you want to look at it, but if I'm talking to a millionaire and fucking with the millionaire, that's way better than talking to and fucking with somebody that's just like a normal person. Like, I'm not saying that they're a better person because they have more money, but I'm saying that essentially, definitively, they are able to provide you with more value, more resources than the normal person. It is what it is. So, with that being said, you do want to have a relationship with these people, and it is symbiotic. I mean, hopefully you're able to also provide value to them in the same way. And so your circle, I mean, when you're down, they're lifting you up. When they're down, you're lifting them up, type shit. And in terms of the business networking, I mean, I haven't even really had the opportunity to experience to truly experience what you're capable of building when you're building together. Most of everything I've built thus far has been built solo. And obviously I haven't made it fully to where I want to be, so I can only speak on that so much. But from what I've seen thus far, and from the millionaires I've talked to, from the successful people I've talked to, from the people that are where I want to be, networking and your network and your circle are going to be your biggest tools. Numero 11, I'm pretty sure. There's lesson, I'm going to have to read this one. I hate reading from a script, but I'll have to read this one, sorry. There's lessons to be extracted and patterns to be analyzed in everything, good and bad, and understand that bad is subjective and relative. So, what I mean by that is, if you see somebody that's a total failure or somebody that's a fucking crash out, there's lessons to be extracted from their experiences. So you don't have to go through them themselves. Even if it, I mean, obviously in certain cases it's like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't have shot that guy, you know? But in other cases, it's like, oh, damn, like, he just had the wrong accountant and buddy went fucking millions of dollars into debt. And so, like, it's a lot of different things, like I said, whether it be perceived as something good or something bad, to be extracted. And even in the context of, in your personal life, seeing if there's a parent that you don't want to be like, you can analyze and study that and see the things that culminated to create that person. And so what I mean by bad is subjective is Thanos thought he was doing the world a favor. Did everybody else disagree? Yeah, sure, but according to Thanos, he was stopping everybody from starving. So that's pretty solid logic, according to me, trying to be understanding of Thanos, if that makes sense. So the point is that if you go and fucking murder and ravage a family's house because there's a zombie apocalypse and you need to feed your family, are you really the bad guy type shit, you know? Like, that's the kind of, like, moral dilemma kind of thing I'm trying to get at here. Like, everything is not so straight cut when you really look into it. And so, yeah, that just tacks onto the initial part of the point. 12, or 12. Suffrage is optimal. It's where the most learning, the most strengthening happens. So embrace it and understand that it's a compounding effect. Like I had said earlier, when you inevitably lose, extract the value from it, and it will be a compounding effect. Not only are you strengthened, so you're more well-equipped mentally going into whatever bullshit gets flung at you next, but you also have those lessons in your pocket to help prevent further bullshit from happening in the future. And just learn to embrace it, especially if you're going to be trying to climb the ranks and trying to hustle it and trying to run it up. You're going to take L's, and you're going to have persistence to be able to take them for what they're worth, and keep on pressing. And at the lowest points, I've found, personally at least, this is what I'm speaking on, but personally, that at the lowest points, that's where the most pivotal lessons and the most pivotal learning happens. And like the most impactful lessons, I guess you could say. So yeah. 13, perception is projection. This one's interesting. So, for example, the other day I walked into the I do cybersecurity, but when I'm in the office, I occasionally have to double as IT. So I was going to the conference room to help the CEO get whatever meeting or whatever it was he was supposed to be doing set up, and he pulls up in these nice ass electric cars with all his buddies, right, all his boys, and they go into the conference room, and I go in right after him, and I walk in, and then as soon as he sees me, he's like, "Can I help you?" And at that second, I got like this, you know, that pain in your chest where it's just like, ugh, you know? I got that shit because it was like, damn. Like, how are you going to well, because I know what I'm capable of. I know I could sit there and have fluent conversation and provide arguably even provide value to these people, even though they are way older than me and they have way more money than me. I have way more technological expertise than them. Obviously, they have people like me at their disposal, which is what I had to understand. And I also had to understand that I had not displayed my full entrepreneurial, like, ambitious as fuck ass self to this guy, or to the, not this guy, but to the CEO. So I couldn't blame him for addressing me and treating me as just an IT guy. Like, what the fuck are you here for? And so, anyways, he said, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "No." This was really a tough interaction for me. I don't think y'all understand. I'm not a very authoritating or authority respecting person. That's just not really my type of vibe, you get me? Well, not even authority. I don't have a problem with authority, but respect goes both ways. I just have a problem, like, when the authority violates the respect and then expects the respect to be maintained. Oh, I don't know about all that. So anyways, I managed to suck it the fuck up this time, and I was like, "No, sir, I'm just here to help you get, like, the screen working and make sure all that shit is good." And so he's like, "Oh, well, we're not using the screen, so you can go." And I'm like, oh, man, like, that shit was tough. So I was, like, genuinely so pressed about that shit that I had to, like, go and start journaling. And I got to a point where I was asking myself, why? Like, why did I feel this way? At no point, and this was kind of like a, fuck, do I have more hair? Damn, what the fuck? Anyways, I was journaling and I got to a point where I was like, why do I feel this way? I haven't felt that way in years. Since I became Jay the Prodigy, my reputation has preceded me. So everyone's known what I'm capable of. Everyone's, like, expected highly, had high expectations for me. And so this kind of brought back, like, that trauma of me being in school and always knowing what I would do, always knowing what I was capable of, and yet everyone there just sat there and laughed in my fucking face. And so, like, that shit hit home, so I had to analyze why. And it came down, or I came to the conclusion of, this is going to be a little bit personal, but we're going to get like that, of subconsciously, I had a degree of idolization towards this person. Like, subconsciously, I looked up to him. He was in a position where I want to be. I'm literally studying the environment that I'm working in, trying to observe and see what it is that keeps the employees here, that keeps the employees so enthusiastic, that keeps them so motivated, and how they're able to find needles in the haystack. When I tell you this company's employees are on some different shit, everybody is on the growth mindset, growth timing, self-development timing, all that. How do you make that happen? That's what I wanted to know. And that's what I've been studying. And that's what subconsciously, I think I put a little bit too much oomph into. And so that was problem number one. Problem number two is my fear to shine. Like I had said, was previously afraid to show people what I'm capable of and who I am and how I am. Damn, that was a big ass bird. I think that's a hawk. That is not a fucking normal bird. Anyways, completely lost my train of thought, so that's fucking lovely. That fucking bird. No, that shit was a hawk. That shit was a hawk, not a bird. Well, I mean, a hawk is a bird, but that was a hawk. Yes, that's right. So yeah, subconscious degree of idolization towards him. My fear of shining. like I had said, I was previously afraid to shine and show people what I'm capable of and whatnot. And that's one of the primary reasons that he doesn't know what I'm capable of. I've intentionally, literally, intentionally and consciously made an effort to not let him know what I'm capable of. Mostly in part due to the first law of power, which is don't outshine your master. I'm respecting that. I respect the people above me, and I'm not going to violate and try and be like, woo, woo, you know, doot, 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 type shit. Nope. We're respecting the chain of command here. They're trying to bring me up. I'm trying to lift them up, making them look good to the superiors. Understand the pecking order. That's another valid point. Anyways, my fear to shine had prevented him from knowing what it is that I'm capable of. So I just had to kind of, like I had said, put myself in the position of that person and of that person's understanding. And I had never presented it to him, so I shouldn't even expect him to treat me as anything more than just another IT guy like he would have treated the other IT guys. So, yeah. That was a really, really long point, but it's a very important one, and actually I've realized I'm not done yet. The point is that there is... What the fuck is that noise? There is lessons to be learned in how you take things and how you perceive things. Like, if you take something a certain way or you feel a type of way about something, there's a reason you feel a type of way about something. And more than likely, 98% of the time, it's an internal reason, whether you want to face it or not. So, take it or leave it. 14. I haven't put this video out yet, but in the video of how to build confidence, I say that you should build a mental image of yourself that is perfect. The superior you. I've got the superior prodigy, and it's ever evolving. And it should be ever evolving, because you're learning every day and you're experiencing new things every day. And so the requirements of the optimal you is changing every single day, or should be. 15. Busy is not productive. I've never really had this problem, but I've seen a lot of people that do. Just because you're working towards something does not mean that you're working towards it effectively. There is a big difference between working towards it and working towards it optimally or effectively. What I mean by this is, I'm sure y'all know that one fucking Abraham Lincoln quote that's like, I'm going to sharpen my axe before I cut down this tree, yada, 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 yada. Because when you hit the tree with the sharp axe, you're doing way more damage than you're doing with the fucking dull axe. So you're probably better off taking a little bit of time to sharpen the axe before you start going at the tree. You get me? So, I mean, it's kind of hard to elaborate on this because it's so context specific, but the general idea is to ensure that you are working effectively, ensure that you're doing and working as best as you can. Like, you have to research the best, the most efficient people at whatever it is that you're doing. And from there, you'll be able to extract lessons and kind of know roughly whether you're doing it effectively. 16. Your value will not always be immediately perceived, but as long as you know it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Then you just got to show them. And you just got to go get it. It's all right in front of you. You just got to go get it. So, with that being said, that is my 16 most important lessons, or whatever the fuck I'm going to title this video. My name is Jay the Prodigy. Let's go